Okay, we want to restrict the add, edit, and delete operations to store managers. Now we have two options here. One way is to show or hide various elements depending on the user's privileges. This works well if you have a simple view. But if you have a complex view, you will end up with a lot of if and else blocks, and this will make your view hard to maintain. In that case, it's better to create an entirely new view for users with less privileges. Now look at this view. We need to hide this button here. Also, in our table, we need to replace this link that takes us to the edit page with another one that takes us to a view page. And we should also hide the third column. So there are quite a few things we need to change here. But more importantly, because we are rendering this table in JavaScript, this is going to get even more complex. So for this scenario, I'm going to create an entirely new view for the staff. So let's go to Views, Movies, Index. Duplicate this view and rename this to Read-Only List. And also for consistency, I would like to rename Index to List. Now let's go to Read-Only List. You should delete this action link that renders the new button. And in our table, we don't need the third column. Delete. Scroll down. In the first column, I'm going to remove this custom render function because I don't want to render this edit link. Now this will render just plain text. You may decide to render a different link that would take the user to view movie page instead of edit movie. Also, we don't need the third column here. And that means we should get rid of this code that handles the click event of the delete buttons. Delete. Done. Let's close this. In Solution Explorer, go to Controllers, Movies Controller. In the index action, we use the user property of our controller, which gives us access to the current user. We call isInRole method. And here we specify the name of our role, can manage movies. Now here we have a magic string, but I'm going to fix that later. Let's just finish up this part. So if the user can manage movies, I'm going to return the list view. Otherwise, read-only list. Now we can also get rid of this else because it's really not required here. Let's test this. Build. Back to the browser. So I'm currently logged in as admin. I'm going to refresh the page. So I get the same view as before. But if I log off and log in as guest, look, as a staff member, I can only view the list of movies. Now, this is the first half of implementing authorization. Our application still has security holes. So as a guest user, I can still go to movies/new. And look, I can add a new movie here. I can also use this Postman plugin and call our API to create a movie or update or delete an existing one. So in Movies Controller, we need to decorate these actions like the new action with the authorize attribute. And here we set the roles property, which is a string. And we can pass multiple rows separated by a comma. So again, a magic string, can manage movies. The problem with this magic string is that if we decide to change the name of this role, we have to change many different places. And also, if we have a typo, our application is not going to work properly. But we're going to fix that in a second. Now let's build. Back to the browser. So I'm still logged in as a guest. If I refresh this page, I get redirected back to the login page. So I cannot access /movies/new. So this is just one example. You need to apply authorize attribute on other actions like create, edit, update, and delete. And that applies to actions of our Movies API as well. but I'm going to leave that as an exercise for you. Now let's fix this magic strings. So in Solution Explorer, right-click Models and add a new class. I'm going to call this role name. Change this to a static class and add a constant here. Public constant string can manage movies. And we set it to a string. Can manage movies. Now with this, if we decide to change the name of this role, we have to modify only one place. And also we'll reduce the chance of typos. So back in our controller, I'm going to replace this with role name dot can manage movies. And same here. So this is how you implement authorization at the role level. Next, I'm going to show you how to add profile data to ASP.NET Identity users.